Long-term protective styling is a great way to retain length in order for you to achieve your hair length goals. But as many of us have experienced before, it also can be a source of breakage. So here is how I treat, cleanse, strengthen, and protect my hair for my long-term protective styles. So first things first, to do yarn locks, you need yarn. But unlike Marley hair, yarn comes in a big bundle. So the first thing you'll have to do is to cut them up into smaller pieces. To do that, you'll first have to decide how long you want your finished product to be. And for me, I wanted boob length locks. So I found somewhere in my house where I could comfortably wrap my yarn around to give me about 34 inches of yarn. To completely do the yarn locks, I'll suggest you use 2 large rolls of yarn. I made a mistake of buying 1 large roll and 1 small roll, and then I had to go back to the store and buy an extra small roll in order to finish my hair. So I'll suggest to buy 2 large rolls from the get-go. And in one sitting, I completely wrapped that large roll of yarn around my bed head and snipped the ends, both ends. So the reason why yarn locks take so long to do is because they have 2 stages to them. The braiding stage and then the wrapping stage. In order for me to go through the braiding stage as quickly as possible, for each row I parted, I pre-sectioned a 1-inch section and I twined it and clipped it out of the way with my metal clip. This allowed me to not only just grab a section and braid without interruption, but with this method, I could sit in front of my laptop and catch up on my scandal instead of going back and forth in front of a mirror trying to get my part neat and tidy. There's no need to braid the hair all the way down to the end. I just braided about 1 inch past my real hair. Completely braiding my hair was pretty quick and kind of fun. For each braid, I used 3 strands of yarn, and for each leg of braid, I had 2 strands of yarn. There are many different braiding techniques, you just have to find the one that works best for you. But I've found that this braiding technique gives a more secure braid. If you're really not comfortable at all with braiding, then you could probably try twisting in the yarn. I've only ever tried that technique with my Marley locks, but I guess you can give it a try with the yarn. Now, after completely braiding my entire head of hair, it's time to wrap my entire head of hair. To start this process, I wrap my bundle of yarn around my bed head again, but instead of cutting it on the 2 ends, I only cut it on 1 end. So by doing this, my yarn is now 2 times the length of my first batch. Since I'll be using this yarn to now wrap my braid, I'll be using more yarn per length of hair. So keeping it twice the length would be best so that you don't have to pieces the hair. Again, I'm using 3 strands of yarn for each braid. I fold the yarn against my braid a few inches, then I start to wrap. Pieceing the yarn is not hard, but you get a smoother, more even lock when you don't have to do that. Wrapping the hair is really easy, but it is so time consuming. Basically, any amount of time it took you to do your braiding, just times that by 3, and that's probably the amount of time you'll be spending on wrapping the hair. When I get to the end of my wrapping, I take 1 long strand from my wrapping yarn and 1 short strand from my braiding yarn, and I knot them twice. I've seen some people burn the yarn until it falls off, but I find that gives you a pointier finish than the rounded finish I've achieved. And if you have left out any piece of yarn by mistake, just cut that off. And this is how I install my favorite protective style, faux locks. I don't have to worry about straightening my hair before installing this style, or any of my real hair poking through, so I have to, snip it up in order for it to blend neatly with my braids. Nope, everything is just wrapped in place. If there are any questions you have about this style, be sure to ask them down in the comment section. I'll also have any information that I thought that I left out in this video down in the description box, so be sure to check it out. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Later, beauties. Mwah.
These hits are products that have just stood out to me. I just keep reaching back for them, and I find it hard to even give my other products a chance. It's time to use a leave-in conditioner. Maybe I should try this one, but I know this one already works, so let me just grab this one. Do you see the struggle here? Do you see the struggle?